I want to welcome all of you to a very special day at Mizzou. So my name is Tom Hiles, and I'm Vice Chancellor for University Advancement, and this is a great turnout. We're really pleased to have everyone here for a very special day. I think whenever we've had these announcements, Chancellor, related to leadership support, the sun always shines, so we're glad that it's consistent today. With me on stage is Chancellor Alexander Cartwright, Dave Kurpius, the head and dean of the School of Journalism, Margaret Duffy, professor of strategic communications, David Novak, a 1974 graduate of the Missouri School of Journalism with a major in advertising, co-founder and retired chairman and CEO of Yum Brands, and founder and CEO of OGO. Additionally, David's wife, Wendy, another 1974 graduate of the Missouri School of Journalism with a major in advertising, is also seated on the dais, and we're honored to have you here today, Wendy, as well. Their daughter, Ashley, is with us in the front row. Ashley is my friend and somebody I've worked with for many years. I'd like Ashley to stand up and be recognized. Ashley, where are you? Ashley is the executive director of the Lift to Life Foundation, which David and Wendy created in 1999. And I will also add the mother of 3 wonderful grandchildren for Wendy and David as well. Yay! Very special people. The Lift to Life Foundation's mission is to help those in need reach their full potential. Dr. Cartwright will be sharing more about that in a little while. I'd also like to welcome Representative Sherry Tolson-Reich. Sherry, are you there? Please join me in welcoming Sherry. Sherry represents the 44th District in the Missouri House of Representatives and is also a Mizzou alum, most importantly. So we appreciate that. That's right, a major family as well. With us today is also our members of the university leadership, including Provost Garnett Stokes and a number of our chancellor staff, deans, and directors. So please join me in welcoming them as well. Two people our benefactor today wrote a book on recognition, and I wanted to take a second to recognize 2 very important people on my team who were incredible partners in this. Colin Kilpatrick, where are you? Please stand. And also Ella McLean's in the back of the room. They were incredibly impactful in helping us get to where we are today. So I am also happy to welcome members of our Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign cabinet. Have a little present for you later, which will be connected with today's announcement. Richard Miller and Jose Gutierrez are the co-chairs of that campaign, so please join me in thanking our campaign cabinet as well. So finally, as you know, the Mizzou Our Time to Lead campaign launched in October 2015 with a focus on 3 priorities: endowment, signature centers and institutes, and a campus renaissance. The campaign has an overall goal of $1.3 billion, and we've raised more than $918 million to date. That will change shortly, which I'm pleased to say. The generosity and vision of our donors is essential to our success. So with no further ado, I'm pleased to invite Chancellor Alexander Cartwright this morning to share the good news about our announcement. Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you all for being here today. In addition to the people Tom mentioned earlier, I'd like to introduce President Moon Choi for the university system and curator Philip Snowden, who's here today. I'm excited to announce this remarkable gift, one of the biggest ones I've ever announced, in fact, the biggest. So this is an important time for philanthropy at our university. Philanthropy has been important for MU since 1839. We are gathered here today because of David Novak's passion for leadership. David graduated from the Missouri School of Journalism in 1974 with a degree in advertising. While he was at Mizzou, he met Wendy, who we are also proud to count among our alumni. And like me, he managed to do much better for himself than probably expected. So it's truly great to have both of them here today, along with their daughter, Ashley. So thank you again for coming. It's great to have you here. And it's great to know, and you can ask him the story about how he met Wendy later. I'm sure he would love to tell that story again. But it's truly what you would call a Mizzou match. After graduation, David began his career in advertising and became PepsiCo's Chief Marketing Officer. He went on to become Executive Vice President of Marketing and Sales there before becoming its Chief Operating Officer. He later helped spin off the restaurant business, co-creating Yum Brands, which comprises KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. David served as Yum's chairman and CEO from 1999 until his retirement last year. Under David's leadership, Yum Brands doubled in size to 41,000 restaurants and established itself as a global powerhouse. David now focuses on his role as the founder and CEO of OGO, the first inspiration and recognition brand for the amazing people of your life. David has been recognized as, this is going to be a long list, so be patient, CEO of the Year by Chief Executive Magazine, as one of the world's 30 best CEOs by Barron's, and as one of the 100 best performing CEOs in the world by Harvard Business Review, along with many other leadership awards along the way. He also is the author of Taking People With You, a book that I strongly recommend any of you thinking about leadership read. I read it, and it was an incredible learning experience for me. That book was a #1 New York Times bestseller, as well as Oh Great One and The Education of an Accidental CEO. In his books, David outlines his philosophy of leadership and the importance of recognition. Beyond his professional achievements, David is deeply committed to helping those in need reach their full potential through the work of the Lift a Life Foundation. The Lift a Life Foundation focuses on hunger relief, student leadership development, early childhood education, juvenile diabetes, and military family support. Throughout his personal and professional life, David has truly led by example. Today is no exception. It is my honor and pleasure to announce that David and Wendy have committed $21.6 million to establish the University of Missouri School of Journalism to establish the Novak Leadership Institute. With a mission to prepare lifelong learners who make a positive and meaningful impact in their organizations and communities, the Novak Leadership Institute will be the world's first center for communications and marketing-based leadership education. As part of Mizzou's Our Time to Lead campaign, we have a goal to establish 5 to 10 signature centers and institutes with endowments of $10 million or more. The Novak Leadership Institute joins our collection of signature centers and institutes that also includes the Kinder Institute on Constitutional Democracy, the Thompson Center for Autism and Neurodevelopmental Disorders, and the Reynolds Journalism Institute. Simply put, if you want to teach, study, or conduct research on leadership, you need to come to Mizzou. David. We talked about this morning at breakfast, and I certainly see this center, this institute, as being one that is a differentiator for Mizzou. We will be a world leader in this area we are a world leader in this area. So thank you to David and Wendy for that. I'd like to ask Dean David Kurpius and Professor Margaret Duffy to speak more about this transformational gift in a little bit. But first, please allow me once again, on behalf of Mizzou's students, alumni, and friends, to offer my sincere thanks to David, Wendy, and Ashley for this extraordinary gift. Thank you. Here to share more about the impact of this gift is Missouri School of Journalism Dean David Kurpius. David.
Thank you, Chancellor Cartwright. This is an incredible day for the Missouri School of Journalism and the University of Missouri. On behalf of nearly 23,000 J-Schools graduates worldwide, I want to extend my gratitude to David and Wendy and Ashley for their families' tremendous generosity and for David's vision for preparing generations of Mizzou graduates to change the world by taking people with them. Still seen regularly on CNBC's Squawk Box and other national media, David is widely known for his joyful approach to leadership development, which involves recognizing people in surprising and unique ways. At Yum Brands, he would often surprise employees with traditionally unconventional items like rubber chickens and those big chattering teeth with feet, simple gestures that were treasured by his team members. I am so pleased that today it's our turn to take a few moments to recognize David and his family. David and Wendy, we are proud that you are graduates of the World's Journalism School, and we are even more proud that the Novak Leadership Institute will be an important legacy for you and your family. As Dr. Cartwright mentioned, the Institute is the world's first communication-based program for leadership development and education, and it could only be possible here. Our famed Missouri method means learning by doing. The hands-on approach, combined with David's leadership, expertise, and reputation as a marketing visionary, will provide the University of Missouri students with an extraordinary opportunity to learn and apply the skills that will help them become transformative leaders. I'm particularly delighted that one of our extremely talented strategic communication professors will serve as the Novak Institute's executive director. Dr. Margaret Duffy chaired strategic communication, the largest emphasis area in the J School, for more than 13 years, guiding its growth from about 185 students to almost 600. She also is founder of Mojo Ad and AdZoo, the J School's student-staffed, full-service IMC agencies with real clients paying real fees. Prior to joining the Academy, she worked for 15 years as a marketing executive in corporate America. Margaret has done a fantastic job working with David to envision the very exciting possibilities for the Novak Institute. It is my pleasure to welcome her to the podium to share with you plans for the Institute and the impact it will have on the School of Journalism, our campus, and the world. Thank you again to Ashley and David and Wendy and Margaret Duffy.
Thank you all for being here. Let me start with a favorite quote from David Novak. I believe leadership is a privilege. I believe deep down in my bones that all people, given a choice, have an inherent desire to do the right thing, to contribute, and to make a positive difference through the work they do. David built his success by bringing out the best in others, and his principles and teachings have already helped thousands of people become their best selves and achieve tremendous personal and professional success. These are principles that inspire me and that I truly believe in. He and his family have a legacy of generosity, goodwill, and achievement. This extraordinary institute offers undergraduate and graduate courses, and these are already underway. I'm told I must speak up a little bit. Just, wave me if I'm not saying it. It's an institute that starts in strategic communication at the J School, extends to MU, it extends to the MU entire system and beyond. It's going to have worldwide impact, and this is inspired by David, who is not known for thinking small. We'll offer certificate and online programs, study abroad, diversity education, leadership seminars, workshops, a lecture series, an annual conference, and much more, and we'll keep creating it as we go along. The Novak Library will be a catalyst for research and thought leadership in the area. Together, the Novak Leadership Institute, the Missouri School of Journalism, the University of Missouri, and the state of Missouri will make the world a better place by creating ethical, courageous, and effective leaders. And we're going to have fun doing it. Thank you, David.
Thank you. That's great. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Gee, Ashley and Wendy, I thought we were just going to do a leadership institute. This is really quite an honor, and it's a very special time for our family. Believe me, in 1974, when we graduated, I guarantee you, Wendy and I did not expect to be back here in this kind of situation. I love the University of Missouri, and the University of Missouri did two really big things for me. Number one, it introduced me to Wendy. I promise you I won't tell you the whole story about how all that happened, but Wendy's the best thing that ever happened to me. And my daughter and my grandkids almost top her. So it's really great to have Wendy here with me and to share this moment. And we both benefited greatly. For the second thing that I love the University of Missouri for is that it brought me to so many great friends. The journalism school, which is a hallmark, and it's where I really found my passion for marketing. And I really believe once you find out what you really love, when I love marketing and advertising, you become so infatuated with it that you just keep on learning and keep getting better and better. And I found that here at the University of Missouri. And once I found that, my career just took off and my life took off in terms of just what I wanted to get done. Before that, I have to tell you, I was an extremely mediocre student here. But I remember Dr. Gaston and Dr. Dobbins, they took me under their wings, and it was really great. When Wendy and I graduated in 1974, it was a terrible time. People talk about how bad it is now, but unemployment was high. You had to wait in line to get gas, the oil embargo, you might remember that. There were race riots were left and right. People getting assassinated. You had just all kinds, the Vietnam War, it was like, how do you even get a job? And the one thing that did open the door for both Wendy and I is the fact that at least when you said you went to the University of Missouri, you got your degree at the journalism school, which was famous, everybody said, well, that's a good school. And people's eyes would open up a little bit, and it kind of opened up the door a little bit for us. But we both had a very challenging time getting a job back then. Wendy started out as a ad salesman for the Washingtonian magazine. I worked at a small advertising agency, R. Joseph Harrell and Farr, writing copy. And it was funny, I was in the back corner and there was this hamburger
a picture of this hamburger in my corner office, and Wendy always tells everybody I was destined to end up running the largest restaurant company in the world. But Wendy went on, and she worked at Ketchum, McLeod & Grove in public relations, and then she went to Dallas, where she was the leading salesperson for WFA television. And there's no doubt if she would have chosen to do that, she would end up being a general manager of a TV station, because all of her peers that she was so much better than became that, you know. And she had as much talent, and I think even more. But she decided to become a mother, and which was an amazing event for us, because Wendy's a juvenile diabetic, and doctors told us that she could never have a child, and she risked her life to have Ashley, and was quite successful in doing that. But it had a lot of adversity that came afterwards because of that. But I know that she thinks that Ashley's the best thing that she ever did, and I was glad to be a part of that as well. Okay. Yeah. For me, I never had an MBA. But I did have a Bachelor of Journalism at the University of Missouri, and that was good enough for me, and I let the experience take over and give me my MBA. One of the things I became enormously passionate about throughout my career was just the ability to help people achieve their potential. You know, I think as a leader, I think leadership is a privilege. When you're a leader, you have the privilege of helping others become all they can be. When you're a leader, you're a coach. You help people win. You take the organization to places where you never thought it could possibly go. And for me, one of the things that I felt was so important was creating a culture where everyone really counted. And what I tried to do as a leader was, you know, build that culture. And the mechanism that I used to build the culture was teaching leadership. I created a leadership program in 1999 called Taking People With You. I taught it all around the world for over 15 years, and kept building it and going out and seeking know-how from great leaders like Jack Welch and Warren Buffett and Jamie Dimon, and you know, all the people that you read about or I read about, going and visiting Coach John Wooden and talking to him about leadership. And so as a CEO, you get all this exposure, and you get all this experience that most people just don't get. And I felt that if I kept that to myself and I didn't share it, I would be selfish. And that's why I wrote the books. And the other reason why I wrote the book is all the proceeds go to the World Food Program and to juvenile diabetes. So I was able to kind of get a double whammy, you know, make money for organizations that need it, and then give the experiences that I had to other people. And then I was thinking, well, how do we take it to the next level? Well, we've started our family foundation, Lift a Life, and you know, we've already are teaching leadership in high schools and middle schools, and we've got a great program there called Lead to Feed. But I knew we could do even more. And then I came to the University of Missouri, and I had the great opportunity to get this lady here, she's a dynamo. I mean, you know, it takes a person to really, you know, inspire you about what's possible. And she really just said, hey, I love this leadership thing, you know, because I wanted to take it to the next level, because I believe there's a tremendous leadership gap in this country. Our country needs more leaders. And, you know, if you look at Gallup surveys, 7 out of 10 employees are not engaged when they go to work. 50% are actually disengaged. That means 30% of people are driving the productivities of the average company in America. I think that is really, really sad. And when you look at what's going on in education, nobody's teaching leadership. Nobody is teaching people and preparing them on how to go in the workplace, how to grow as leaders, how to run projects, how to get people involved, how to win. Nobody's doing this. This is crazy. Why aren't people investing in leadership and the skills that are going to help people be successful? Now, one of the great things about the University of Missouri is applied. It's applied learning that you get here. I loved the fact that when I was in journalism school, I had to develop a campaign. And I had to go sell that campaign. And, you know, I had to work at the newspaper, and I had to go sell ads and write stories. But, you know, I actually learned how to really do something. And, you know, I think that really helped me. And I think what we can do now with this Leadership Institute is we can teach people how to take the skills that they develop and they learn and the functional capabilities that you get as a student, and we can teach people how to enter the workforce and be successful. We can teach people how to enter the workforce with heart. You go to work, you're empathetic. You care about others. You respect others. You say thank you. You go ask people what they think. You don't think you know it all. You know that if you don't know it all, there are people in an organization that do know it all. And if you just go ask them, they're going to help you. But we can teach people these soft skills that can get hard results. And we can also teach people the hard skills that you need to have, how you have to put process and discipline around what really matters to get results. And we can take the soft skills and the hard skills and bring them together and give the people that come to university an advantage that no other university provides. The University of Missouri students that go to the Novak Leadership programs that Margaret is adopting here are going to walk out better prepared to enter the workplace, to drive more success and have greater careers than any other students in America. And I like that. Do you like that? One of the things I really believe with all my heart is that people, everybody counts. I don't care what level in the organization you are, what your job is. If you've got a job, it counts. It matters. You're needed. And we're going to teach people how to let people know they're needed. And the other thing I really believe is no one, I don't care who they are, really wants to go to work and be a part of something mediocre. I think people want to go to work to be a part of something great, to really make a difference and have people see the value that they bring to the total enterprise and be appreciated and respected for what they do. And I want you to know, with this Leadership Institute, we are going for absolute greatness. Margaret calls it world domination, okay? You know, I just call it simply greatness. And what do I mean by that, okay? I want this program, we want this institute. This is going to set the standard for how leadership is taught in the world. We are going to break new ground on leadership. We are going to set the standard, and we're going to have the Harvards and the Yales and the Wake Forests and all these different schools. They're going to be coming here, visiting the University of Missouri, making best practice visits because we have something that they don't. Now, I like the idea of that. I think that's a good idea. It's going to happen. And all these leaders up here, I got to tell you, I feel really great about it. I feel great about your new chancellor. I feel great about your new president. Now, this is a gut instinct, okay? Because I just met him. You know, so but I got to tell you, I'm going to be a little bit, you know, I'm pretty good on the gut instinct. You know, and one of the reasons why is I grew up, my dad was a government surveyor, and I lived in a trailer until I was in 7th grade. The biggest house we had was 8 feet wide by 40 feet long. And we moved every 3 months. And so my mom would check me into these schools, and she'd say, hey, David, you better go make some friends because we're leaving. And so I would go in, and I learned how, people always said, now, how are you able to size up that situation and those people? Because we'd have these reviews on people, and they'd say, and I said, you know, I think this person is like this. And so, how do you know this? You just met the guy, you only spent an hour with him. Well, it was that traveling around, you kind of see somebody, and you go, oh, that's a rat. Or you go, hey, you see somebody, you go, I'd like to spend some more time with them. And then I look forward to spending a lot more time with the leadership that we have here at the University of Missouri. I look forward to spending, a lot more time with Margaret and helping her take this to the next level, and working with you know, the chancellor and the whole team here to really get this going. We're going to do something special. I believe when you go public, you can't go back. So we're going public here. You know, we basically said we're going to have something pretty special. So that means we got to kick some ass and make it special. Okay? All right. So thank you very much. Okay?
You got a little gift for you from some students. Okay, real quick. Before you get off the stage here, real quickly, I want to introduce two students from the Novak Leadership Institute, Cassidy Herring and MJ Rogers, who have this wonderful gift for you. And I read your book many times, and you told me the story about doing the chant on the Great Wall of China. So we were hoping you might think about an MIZ for us with the megaphone.
Okay, are you
Ready?
Ready. M-I-Z!
Z-O-U!
M-I-Z!
Z-O-U!
M-I-Z!
Z-O-U! Yay! As we're wrapping up, let me just say a couple quick things. We are not going to take media questions right now, but we will as soon as we conclude this, so we'll look forward to making that connection. And the last thing I want to say is just this. I've had the chance to work with a lot of donors over a 32-year career in doing this work, and David and Ashley and Wendy. I got to work with Ashley a lot more, but truly been amazing to work with, partnering, and it was always about excellence. And one of the reasons David is my favorite donor I shared earlier is because as Margaret talked about earlier, that he told us as we concluded the deal about 2 months ago in Louisville, that he wanted it to be a joyful experience, and let's keep the attorneys out of it. So that was one of the reasons I felt really excited to work with David. And lastly, I would say endowments, and I shared this with him before. 100 years from now, when we're all gone and many of these buildings are going to be gone, the Novak Institute will still be alive and helping students, working on leadership. And, of the things that I work on, that really inspires me because, again, that's a legacy that will continue providing excellence to the University of Missouri, but have an impact for many years to come, or for ongoing and in generations to come. So one more time before we do media questions, please join me in thanking Ashley, Wendy, and David for their incredible generosity. Thank you very much.